took you from above. Turning my voice to late with presence. We are the illustrators. Love that all is.
Yes, here it is. It's the Point and Click Secondary Schools eSport Competition Final. Good afternoon. My name is Dwan. A warm welcome wherever you may be tuned into this broadcast. We are bringing you the live grand final for AMES' Point and Click eSports Secondary Schools Competition. A big shout out to AMES, also to Let's Play Live for bringing you this broadcast, and also for all the other partner sponsors in the form of Mighty Ape, Corsair, Plantronics, and of course our good friends at Playtech. Without them, this wouldn't be a possibility. But we started the competition with 48 teams. We are down to 2, and they are here in the Hexadome alongside myself, Freddie the Sheep. Great to have you, mate.
Good to be here. Yeah, pretty excited to see these high school students performing at a great level in the arena and to be at the best facility in New Zealand.
That's right. This is the premier esports facility, and it is massive for them to be here. You know, they've been playing in land tournament down there at AMES. So everyone at the AMES College, I know there's a few of you down there watching this. Great to have you tuned in. But now we're into the business end. They are here. They've done the hard work. But what is at stake for these two teams?
Well, the team who wins this match here today gets to play the curtain raiser at our NZGC final on October 12th at Motat. And they'll be the lead into the grand final, and it's just a huge opportunity to be able to put on display their talent to everyone to see.
That's right. They're going to be playing with, you know, the best players in the country. They're going to open up, and really, it's 500 screaming fans. I mean, that's a great experience for any of these up-and-coming players. I mean, you talk about high school being the bastion or the next level of players. Talk about two key players in the form of, I know, Shocks, who plays in the NZGC, and also Artiferns, who made it all the way to the final, who's coming up shortly. You know, the talent pool is phenomenal in New Zealand.
Yeah, definitely, and it's like any other high school or college sport like football or rugby where, you know, you've got the scouts of the scene, you know, looking at these matches and saying, hey, this is the talented guy, we want him in our scene. This is kind of the gateway to a career for these guys. That's right, but for everybody at home, I know there's a couple of key schools here in the form of Auckland Grammar up against Macleans College for the championship. There might be some teachers or parents at home, so what we want to do is let you meet up with Laurie Pops, who's one of the biggest gaming influencers in the country, and she's going to explain the game and let you know the game.
Hey guys, my name is Laurie Potts and I'm here to help you get to know more about League of Legends and esports in general. And the best place to start is at the beginning. What is League of Legends? League of Legends is a team-oriented strategy game. The goal is to work together with your teammates to bring down the enemy nexus, located in the middle of their base, and do it before they take down yours. The action takes place in the Summoner's Rift, the League of Legends playing field. It's made up of 3 lanes, bot for bottom, mid for middle, and top for top. During the game, champions get stronger in 2 ways. By using gold earned during the game to buy powers and spells, or by leveling up through kills and experience until they reach level 6, which unlocks their ultimate ability. And that is a real game changer. Sometimes things don't go as planned. When a player's champion dies, all is not lost. They get to respawn back in the fountain. But each time a champion dies, players have to wait for their death timer to expire. And the more you respawn, the longer that takes, leaving your teammates a champion or 2 down, which can turn the game. And that is the basics of League of Legends. Use teamwork, skill, and strategy to take down the enemy, while they try to do exactly the same back. Enjoy tonight's matchup. This is Laurie Potts logging out. See you later.
Thank you very much, Laurie Pops. And for everybody that is just tuning into us, this is the AMES Point and Click Grand Final. We're bringing it to you live from within the Hexadome. Laurie Pops was just showing everyone out there the game of choice is League of Legends, and it is one of the biggest esports in the world.
Well, it is the biggest esport in the world. You've got 100 million people playing it monthly, those unique players, and that's almost 2% of the world's population. And if you compare that to the 7 million people around the world who play rugby, I mean, it's just not comparable.
That's right. So for everyone that is the teachers, and we talk about the parents at home that may be watching this for the first time, this is absolutely ginormous. This is the next wave of millennial sport, and it's exciting to have the best teams in the point and click competition here with us inside the Hexadome. So I want to break it down. I want to talk about the two teams specifically. In the red, you're going to have Macleans College. In the blue, we're going to see Auckland Grammar. Now, I know you're an old Auckland Grammar boy, but talk to me about Macleans. I know you've been watching the competition. What are the points and strengths around Macleans College?
Well, Auckland Grammar's always been one of the fan favourites to come in. They've had a great pool of talent, but with Macleans, we didn't actually expect to see them there. We were expecting to see Kings come through, but Macleans actually earlier today knocked them out in a great match. And I was lucky enough to be able to cast that match. And yeah, Macleans have been putting on a great show, and I think they'll be able to take a game or two maybe tonight. Well,
we're not going to be too far away from the pick and ban for everybody out there watching. But like I said, we're at the grand final stage. We started with 48 teams. We're down to 2. But let's have a look at some of the highlights over the competition thus far.
There goes a storm. They want Dodo. They will take him down. Jake pushing further ahead. But finally, Lolby comes in. Does he get the reset? The Cocoon will knock him down. He gets a double kill so far. Getting to the triple. Yes, he does. Is that a quadra kill? He wants the Penta. He's trying to find the Penta, but maybe Cenos will pick that one up. And since Eos is trying to get out there ASAP, I don't know what abilities he has left, but Lolby wants to chase this one so hard. He's so desperate. He's so thirsty for that Penta. Yes, he does. That's the Penta kill. Oh, man. My gosh. They're from this fight at the moment, and they need everyone for this. They need their full team. This could be the start, though. Blaze getting a little bit of poke. Knight getting up to 2/3. They want to go into Eugene, though. He's caught out alone. Where's Solak? There he is. There's Casket. Going to blow a few members. Jackery, though, can finally start down. He does have to get the shotgun first. Solak's the front line, taking a bit of a chunk. Double kill now for Rain. This is a very good fight for AIC. Count, it's still 5-4, it's still barely even. Jana chunking out a bit of damage. There's the Monsoon. Arcade Hacker now engages onto all 5. Flash because Mackenzie's positioning still looks good. Gravity field, not going to catch him on Konsu. He's going to take a lot of damage. He will die first. Arcade Hacker picks him up. Damage going into Love Wins, but Love Wins is getting completely chunked out. Unforgiven busts a shot into the turret. That was absolutely huge. Be really hard. They need a wombo combo. It's about itemization as well. Oh, here comes the cutting though. It doesn't do enough damage. A movement getting the ultimate down. This may be the wombo combo they're looking for. But Rancid Jester, he's taken completely out of position there. Genie late to the party. He wants to get in there. He actually needs to get out now. It's 1v4. They do get a trade onto Graga. So in fact, Genie might just be able to push people up, but he will get taken down by Sai as well. Huge crit coming Knight 40. Whoa, Jace chunks him out as well. They cannot save this fight. Oh, Knight 41 and told you just cannot do enough here, and they just kind of left the party. Goes the cast getting immune though. Jackery gets saved by Ablaze. Wow, that was an amazing black shield. Good timing there. Beckham joins the fight as well. Looks like a full 5v5 engaged soon to happen, potentially either in mid or this river section.
Yeah, no Aniel, no Greg Assault. It's going to be very hard for Auckland International College to actually try and push and engage this.
Oh, Yu-Chen potentially being caught out there. Knight getting into the middle of that with the shield. This is the engage now. Yu-Chen wants to go straight into a place. The shockwave will catch 3. That was absolutely huge. As now AIC are getting completely rounded out. Troll, triple kill to the Corky stand. Is definitely here. Wants to dodge his yes, it does survive. But no, the turret shuts him down. That is not Rain. Picking up the final kill there. They do get the consolation, but wow, what a triple from Standards here, and what a shockwave from Jackery.
Wow.
Damage plus
that was a really good startup. He's like picking up Kennedy, but will probably lose his life for his response. Max 16 is deep in there now. What's Slayer gonna do? He's in the middle, has to pull almost immediately. Unforgiven though on the front lines. He wants to get a couple of traces here. Slayer will eventually go down to Arcade Hacker. That's 4 kills now. 4 down.
So there we have it, some amazing action in the point and click competition, but we are about to get ready for the grand final. Macleans up against Auckland Grammar, but I just want to quickly touch on, we saw a pentakill over the last, what a highlight.
It was a Westlake player, and it was on Katarina, got a pentakill. One player to take out all 5 players on the other team. I mean, it's a rarity even in normal games, but to have it in a competition is just absolutely mind-blowing. The player must be ecstatic about
Yeah,
it.
and we've got to give them a big shout out because that is, a phenomenal achievement. So well done to the Westlake team for that. But look, let's get into the team list because pick and ban stage is almost upon us. Can you take us through the team list and how they'll line up in the Rift tonight?
Sure. So on the red side, we do have Macleans College, and in the top lane, they'll have Zai. In the jungle, they've got Iku, and in the mid lane, they've got Master Yi Rong. In the AD carry, it's their captain Evie and their main shot caller. And then in support, they've got Lammy. And then the crowd favourites and my favourite on the blue side is Auckland Grammar School up the line in the blue team. And their top laner is TY86. Their jungler is Elliptic, who's had a great showing so far in the tournament. In the mid lane, we've got our star from the NZGC, Artiferns, who's one of their shot callers, so he calls the shots in the team. And then their captain is in the AD carry, that's Naive. And in the support, we've got Maximu.
Well, there you have it. That's the two lineups. Maclean's up against Auckland Grammar in the grand final of the point and click AMES competition. Quickly, before we get across to the commentators, have you got a pick? I know you're an Auckland Grammar boy. I've said that before. Are you staying with blue?
Yeah, I'm definitely staying with blue. I think Grammar will take it out. Not because of the bias only, there's a little bit of it in there, but also they've been the fan favourites for a reason. They've had a great showing today and yesterday. That being said, though, I do think Maclean's have the ability to take out a game, but not against the line. I think my pick will be 2-0 for Grammar.
2-0 for Grammar right here. Well, look, I'm going to go with the red just because you said that, and I'm going to say Maclean's can get a game off them. But we've got the commentators standing by in the form of Cam, Crunch, Russell, and also Avril, who have been casting over the last couple of days. Gentlemen, welcome. You must be excited for this big one.
Thank you very much, Dwan, for that intro. I am Kevin Avril Walker, and joined with me on the casting desk today is Cam, Crunch, Russell. We're going to be bringing you the live commentary action for this grand final this afternoon. Macleans College versus Auckland Grammar School. Now, Crunch, we've had quite the journey to make it to this point. 2 teams out of 48.
Yeah, and over 100 went to sign up for this. So many people playing League of Legends. 100 million players each month. That's absolutely incredible. And we're going straight into the pick and bans here with Na, Aurelia, and Azir coming out.
Yeah, and these are the 2 best teams in this competition. I did cast both of these teams yesterday. You joined me for one of those casts, or a couple of those casts indeed. Artiferns, the big play to look for on the side of Auckland Grammar, and Evie, the captain of Macleans, the big play to look for on the side of Macleans. Both of these players went extremely large yesterday that we saw, and particularly I'd like to highlight the junglers as well, Elliptic and Iku. In both the games that I casted, both played Gragas in the jungle, both absolutely dominated with their presence in the jungle, and also the presence on the lane, snowballing their teams to victory.
Yeah, and we've just seen the first pick come out, and they're prioritising the jungler here, and Ty has just picked up Zach. So that is going to be quite a strong pick. We've seen Zach have a major resurgence now. There have been a couple of nerfs to other champions, and it's really seen him come back as one of the strongest and most prioritised picks.
Now let's talk about this target ban on the Jace here. That's the one I want to highlight. Now, Artiferns and Master Yi Rong, they both played Jace to great effect. In fact, the thing I'll highlight about both of these teams is the fact that they had very similar lineups. I said that they both ran the Gragas, they both ran the Jace in the mid as well. Now, Jace and Gragas both targeted bans for sort of both teams. I mean, they both benefit and also they lose something based on that ban.
Yeah, and with the Jace pick, it's so versatile now, it's got such long range that it's really, really hard to actually get onto him. Obviously, Zach, such a big jump range. He can really get to that backline. So picking up Jace now might be a risk for Macleans here, but we'll see the mid pick come in a little bit later as they're picked up. Braum for support and another jungler going in the form of Rek'Sai.
Cool, so let's talk about this jungler matchup now. The junglers have been revealed earliest to us so far. Ty AE86, he's gone into the Zac. We've briefly mentioned the Zac. Let's talk about Iku on the Rek'Sai as well. How are these 2 players going to match up against each other in the jungle now? Who is going to be more effective with their presence, possibly based so far on composition?
So Rek'Sai definitely has an advantage in the early stages. It takes quite a while for Zac to actually charge up and really be able to get the length of his jump that he really needs. Rek'Sai, however, level 3 has some very, very potent gank potential, even level 2 if you will.
And Elliptic, he has picked up the placeholder Maokai for his team, which I believe will be going to the top laner Ty. We saw a lot of Maokai action yesterday, very effective top laner so far, and of course,
Auckland Grammar School were the ones that banned out 2 top laners. Now, they wanted to go for the Maokai. They didn't want the Irelia in there. They didn't want the Na in there. Now, the pick for the top is still yet to be decided for the side on Macleans College. How would you like Macleans College to pick into Maokai right now?
Right, so Tristana is able to obviously jump away from him, but if that twisted advance comes on, it can really tie her down. So you need to have a bit more of a front line. I mean, Braum and Rek'Sai are great, but now it's just getting Tristana rolling as well. So you need something that can obviously try and lock someone down so that they can follow up with the damage and get Tristana being able to reset, jump around the fight, and that's where Eevee will carry, right?
Yeah, and as you saw in the highlight reel, Tristana has been one of the big carries for the ADC position of this entire tournament. Now, the other big ADC carry that I did want to mention is Caitlyn. That was the champion that Eevee played to absolute perfection in his match earlier on yesterday in day 1. Now, Caitlyn is not going to be seen here. Also, I'll highlight that Naive, the ADC player for Auckland Grammar, is not going to be on the same Jin pick that he had yesterday either. Both of these ADCs now going for different picks. We have Israel laning up against Tristana with Braum and Janna as the supports. Now, let's talk about this bottom lane for a second.
I
saw something.
I am going to interrupt because
That's
that
right.
Yasuo pick has just come through for Artiferns.
Yep.
And he managed to pull such a massive upset the other day where Too Easy went down to Tiger Eye due to an amazing Yasuo play from him. So Auckland Grammar now have one of the strongest players in New Zealand on one of his favourite champions. That's been banned away from him in the New Zealand Gaming Championship.
So I did say that Artiferns was one of the key players to look out for Auckland Grammar. Now, Artiferns, the mid laner, he is also the mid laner for Tiger Eye inside the NZGC competition. So, as you said, one of the top mid players potentially in the whole country, potentially in the entire region, now playing for Auckland Grammar on one of his preferred picks. Master Yi Rong on the Victor, what can he do here?
Well, look at this. You've got Zac to go with Artifernes on that Yasuo. However, if there's a good play where Rek'Sai can try and knock up the Zac before he actually impacts, then it completely screws the comp of the Yasuo-Zac combination, where you get the knock-up, you get the last breath to come through, and it will completely freeze up their engage. Now, looking to counter-engage with that, Victor can be able to burst down Tristana, start those resets, and Wukong come straight through and be able to knock up everyone, trying to stop Artifernes and everyone else from following through with that Zac engage.
So, as far as the Zac engage goes, I want to point out one of the other key enablers here. Maximu on the Janna, potential with the Howling Gale to get the knockups as well.
Yes.
For Artifernes to jump on with the ultimate coming from Yasuo. Now, back to the bot lane discussion that we were about to have. Israel into Tristana, Janna into Braum.
Right, so Braum Tristana is very, very potent at level 2. The fact that you have that CC being able to be applied, as well as Braum being able to pull up a shield and block so much of the damage that comes out of Israel. All of his skills are skill shots. That means that obviously he can pull up his wall and just completely mitigate all of that damage that could be put on Eevee. That way, he can actually snowball. Tristana, Braum, I'm putting it in their favour, but Janna and Israel have a range advantage, so they need to be able to just play safe and try and poke as opposed to engage.
Now, the key players for both sides, I said already, Artifernes and Eevee. If you're Macleans right now and you're knowing that Artifernes is the key pickup, the key target, I'll say, on Auckland Grammar, how are you looking to shut him down? Do you want to apply more pressure from the jungler, have your Rek'Sai potentially apply more pressure to the mid, or do you snowball your bot lane with your captain Eevee on the Tristana?
Yeah, there's a lot of kill potential for Eevee to get going on that Tristana. A lot of burst damage comes out, and as we said, you get one kill, you can reset onto the next. Braum can apply CC to multiple targets with that passive. It really allows them to be able to get into the fight, take down one target, reset onto the next, and then look to take a tower. So Tristana's able to do that very well. That first tower gold is a great way to snowball your top carry. So Eevee will probably be the focus for that team.
Let's talk about the double exhaust pickup now for the mid laner and the support on the side of Auckland Grammar. What are they afraid of here? What could they potentially be trying to do with these double summoners?
So, double exhaust is a great way to be able to stop that initial kill from being able to come in. If you're able to take away all of that potential burst damage that comes through from Victor, as well as the Tristana or Wukong coming through your team, if you can't manage to get a kill, Macleans will not be able to reset, or get Eevee rolling, which is the whole point of this composition. Try and get Eevee to get one kill, reset on. If the exhaust takes away all that damage, then it completely mitigates their composition.
You lightly touched up on Zai's Wukong pick as well. Now, Wukong is a pick that I haven't seen for some time, I would say, in the sort of League of Legends meta right now. Na and Irelia and Maokai, Trundle as well being the more preferred picks. Wukong now being matched up in the top lane. What is the game plan for Wukong in this match, and how is he going to fare in that top lane 1v1?
So Wukong is such a great team fighter with his ultimate. If he's able to get into the middle of the team composition, try and knock up Artifernes, it's really going to be able to disturb them. Now, Wukong also has the ability to snowball very, very hard. If he gets ahead, it's pretty much game over for whatever top laner he's up against. He can build damage or tank, so it's still a very versatile champion. But as you said, some of the picks just kind of counteract Wukong's efficiency in lane. But it's going to be whether or not Rek'Sai will be able to get him ahead, and you'll have that same sort of combination. Although the focus should be on Eevee. Wukong
also has quite a bit of potential for, I think, split pushing. He's certainly a good soloer. He has escape abilities as well. He has abilities to chase. He has his stealth and invisibility. He may be difficult to lock down. This may be a part of Maclean's game plan potentially.
Yes, absolutely. So Wukong in itself can build so many different items. I mean, Triforce has been changed since we've seen Wukong in the meta. Now it doesn't give crit. That's fine because attack speed is very, very good with Wukong's kit. The fact that he can go in with his dash, auto attack, reset with his Q, so much damage output there. And against the Wukong, Black Cleaver is certainly on the cards to be able to shred through that armor.
Now the champions are on the Rift. Macleans College on the red side versus Auckland Grammar School on the blue side. The champions are here. TY86 playing the Maokai in the top lane with Elliptic on Zac in the jungle. Artifernes with Yasuo in the mid. Israel being captained, being piloted by Naive in the bot lane with his support Maximu on the Janna. Now Zai with the Wukong in the top lane. Iku with the Rek'Sai in the jungle. Master Yi Rong this time will be playing Victor in the mid lane. Eevee now switching up to Tristana in the bot with his support Lammy on the Braum.
We're seeing Macleans come out with some early vision to try and see where exactly Elliptic is starting on that Zac. Whether or not Auckland Grammar is going to try and utilize the fact that they can get a very easy start on the bot side for Israel and try and get him ahead to level 2, which means that he can actually have an escape tool if Braum and Tristana try and go for that engage. As I said before, level 2 is going to be where it's at for Tristana and Braum to try and really get their team ahead and try and engage on Maximu and Naive.
Okay, cool. So as far as junglers go, what are the potential positions for the junglers go? Which lanes do you think they'll pressure first? Do they prefer to farm a little bit more first?
So Zac definitely on the farming front. Rek'Sai should be all about ganking. If he can get some of these lanes ahead, in fact all of his lanes have the potential to snowball incredibly well. So he should just be focusing on where's the pressure, who is overextending in lane, and just gank. Try and get them ahead because Israel takes a while to charge up. Yasuo takes a couple of items to get very efficient. Zac also, obviously, he's needing time in the jungle. So use that time well, and Iku should be able to get Macleans ahead here.
Well, let's see if Iku does get Macleans ahead. So far in the bot lane, a little bit of poke happening already. Explosive charge being landed on Naive. Concussive blows as well. It is a double range lane against a single range. I mean, I don't know if you count really Braum as a ranged champion. He does have the Winter's Bite, but essentially it's a 2v1 in terms of range, and Braum is going to be melee in that lane. How's that going to affect their laning capabilities?
Yeah, Braum is definitely a melee champ, not ranged. So it's that range of Israel and Janna that is going to be able to poke him down. That's why the hard engage goes over to Macleans. Eevee will be able to win those trades very, very easily. However, if they manage to stay out of that range and just slowly whittle down the Macleans bot lane, that's where Auckland Grammar can really turn up the heat.
You're actually seeing Zai now, just looking at the mini-map, already shoving his lane directly into Tai AE on the top. So Wukong perhaps taking somewhat of an early pressure in some ways, talking about mid, because Iku, potential gank coming in here. Artifernes, somewhat close to the tower. Has to be careful not to get inside turret range.
Yeah, very well placed. I thought he was very close there actually, but yeah, he certainly knows the limits of this champion. It is his favourite.
Both junglers are actually somewhat close to the mid here. Iku's going to back off for the time being. Elliptic going to pick up the Rift Scuttler. He does have a double buff, however, making his way down bot now. Potentially turns around for the time being. But both junglers may actually meet right now. There is a potential for that. You also see Zai making his way down river. Potential action in the mid lane. Zai, he has made that rotation. Artiferns, he's below half health already. There is no vision. Oh, here comes the engage. Slingshot comes in. Artiferns takes the Thunderlords. They're both low. The teleport as well. Zai's forced him. He's forced to flash, and that's going to be the first blood. Elliptic takes one turret shot, but Artiferns makes it out alive by the skin of his teeth.
Wow, that was such a risk to pull Zai down to try and get that kill. He's left his lane. Now he's going to have to pop his teleport to get back. He has obviously shoved it into Maokai, but the fact that he wasted so much time walking down, having to wait for the opportunity, and then Elliptic coming in for a perfect counter gank just saved that completely. Kudos to Elliptic there.
Yeah, and they even had the teleport channel from Thai AE86 on the top lane. He did cancel that. They didn't even need it for the defense, but it does seem like that Auckland Grammar was somewhat prepared for that. I mean, we see that Elliptic was in the correct position. He slingshotted in as soon as I engaged, and that completely saved Artiferns, even though he was below half HP before the fight even started.
Yeah, a very, very close trade that could have gone either way, but just the timing and use of spells was just that much better from Auckland Grammar.
So now, actually, in the middle of that little engage, although Zai is now, he did lose, it did give Victor Masirung a tiny lead, a very minimal lead in CS, but it has put Zai so much further back in the top potentially.
Yeah, and one thing is, the CS lead is only at 4, but the experience that would have been lost by Zai is going to put Tai ahead. And look, he's already level 5 to the Wukong on 4, and he's able to just walk back to base, recall from the base, walk back to lane, and he's going to be even in CS, but ahead in the minion experience, and that's going to be crucial come level 6.
So Elliptic is going to come in for round number 2 in the middle lane. Artiferns jumping, if there's a slingshot, they will not come here wrong, and with the tornado as well, the gravity field to come down, it will save him. Turret shots into Artiferns as well, will chunk him out, it will prevent any further engages. For the time being, Master Yi Rong is safe.
Yeah, and he managed to hold on to his flash. He knew he was safe there. There was no burst damage or ultimate to come out from Artiferns. So the extra turret shot that he managed to take there evens up the trade, and it's a waste of time for Elliptic now, just because now it's obviously very, very even. Nothing blown, while Iku was managing to just get that vision down and farm.
Now, on the first engage, there's something else I wanted to really mention, but pulling your top laner down for that gank potentially is a little bit strange when you consider that's a jungler's job. Would it have been more preferable for Iku to make that mid lane gank rather than Zai?
I thought they'd almost go for a 3-man on that, because that way you're definitely ensuring that you're going to get a kill. If 3 people versus 1, and you, I guess if you don't get a kill, there's a huge amount of resource wasted, but it's highly likely that he can only exhaust one target, and in the early stages it's very, very easy to kill a champion while they're weak. So I would have liked to see Iku there, and I was expecting him to come along.
Yeah, and Zai still feeling the pains of that early first blood loss. We'll talk about that later, because Iku gets challenged in the jungle by Artiferns. Elliptic to follow as well, gets the stretchy engaged. Victor Masihiro can do nothing to save his teammate. That's going to be the second kill now going to Auckland Grammar School. 2-0, they are now ahead by almost 1k gold.
And Iku thought that he would be able to get back up from Master Yi Rong, coming in on that Victor. He just didn't respect the amount of damage that Artifernes could put out. A beautiful knock-up and last breath, holding him there just long enough for them to finish off that kill. The flash couldn't even be used by Iku, and that's really crucial for getting Artifernes ahead.
Yeah, so now Artiferns, his score is looking good. 1-0 for 1, and he even has a CS lead to boot. The snowball potential now for Artiferns, potentially getting even further ahead. Let's take a look at the replay now. Artiferns gets the ultimate after the knock-up. The burst damage was so strong, Elliptic there, throwing in the Q as well. Master Euron can only chuck down a gravity field in the hopes of stunning both players up, but by the time the stun even comes through, both Artiferns and Elliptic are out.
Yeah, and there's a decent trade going on in the top lane. Ty is just a little bit too tanky for Zai at the moment. So Zai is he's building full damage, which means that any small trades...
Well, in the bot we have a Flash. That Flash has been burned by Maximu. Was caught out for the time being. He did get the concussive blows. 2 out of 4 stacks. It won't be enough. Another Winter's Bite does land, but very good damage nonetheless. We haven't actually seen that much action going on. But now I did mention... I talked to you previously, before the game started, where the focus may be. It looks like the focus so far has been on mid. Macleans very much want to shut Artifernes down, but so far it's only put Artifernes ahead.
Yeah, there's certainly been a lot of pressure around there, but he's managed to hold his summers very well, only use it when he's needed, and that kill that Iku's given across has now put his lane so far behind. It's going to be very, very hard for Master Yi to be able to actually poke down Artifernes, who's a melee champion versus range. But now that he's got the lead, he can actually pressure the lane the other way around. And with Elliptic, now getting a slingshot even longer.
Oh, possible. I thought he may have been tempted to engage there, but not within turret range, certainly. Iku's not that far away either, just over the wall. Let's talk about the CS lead now, because Tai AE 86 is seriously ahead of Zai now.
Yeah, and Wukong is, as I said, a champion that can snowball very well. But if he does not snowball, he is very ineffective. You need to really just rely on his CC from his ultimate to be able to knock people up and hold them there and rely on your team to follow up. But if he manages to get ahead and build those damage items early, that's when he's a threat. The fact that he's behind against this Maokai is really going to be interesting to see how we can translate this into the later stages of this game for Macleans.
And it may be harder and harder for him to now pressure against this Maokai, who is building plenty of armor now in defense against this Wukong player Zai. So this lane may be losing for him harder and harder as the game progresses, unless he does something, unless he makes a teleport play potentially to another lane, unless Macleans really pick up from here on in.
Yeah, and just another thing to be able to note is that the Dragon went over to Auckland Grammar. That was an Ocean Drake, which is going to help with the regeneration of their team. The mana and health of all the players when they're out of combat. Now, with
potential bot lane gank.
Yeah, we're watching Elliptic come in, but he's spotted out by a ward. Although Iku is on the prowl, he is also coming down. They know they're there, but if Zach leaves and Iku comes in, this could really turn around.
Both teleports available for top lane as well. Junglers haven't quite backed off. A few pings in the jungle. They are looking out for each other. I do believe they know both junglers are currently there. Look at Artifer's positioning though. He's actually in the red side jungle. Very aggressive positioning.
Yeah, well, if you do know Iku is down there, how to get even further ahead, then farm his jungle. Deny him even more. He's got 1 death, he's behind in CES, and he's behind in experience. So what better way to do it than just take everything from him, put him even further behind.
Speaking of further behind, Master Yi Rong is falling behind in CS almost as rapidly as Zai is falling behind in CS in the top lane. Both of these guys are struggling right now. There come the ultimates coming down. Maelstrom to follow from Tai AE 86, and that is going to end the engagement. Neither of these tanks can potentially really kill each other right now, but Zai is so chunked out. I don't know how much further he can lane. Bot lane though, Monsoon to try and save Naive. Get the disengage though. Eevee is not done though quite yet. There's the Glacial Official. It does catch Naive. Can they follow up with the engage here? The heal follows. Lammy still wants in. Eevee was the range enough. Oh, he's very low. Can they make a turn? The teleport's coming in as well. And the jungler, Zai, no, that's Iku actually. Not coming in close enough, not coming in quickly enough, and that will be double kill going the way of Naive. Eevee and Lammy so thirsty for that double kill in the bot lane. They couldn't secure that.
Oh my gosh, Maximu just managed to time that exhaust. Oh wow, we're not even time to talk. There's to engage in the mid lane with Master Yi Rong just getting out. Artifernes going deep for him. Elliptic is
may
just,
fall.
Just crawling away. He goes into the passive, but Artifernes will be able to block here. Iku not going to be able to finish up that kill.
Iku cannot challenge whatsoever. In fact, if Iku is not careful, he may be counter-engaged. Oh, very low HP. He just makes it out with his life. Artifernes and Elliptic. They live to fight another day. The score is now 5-0. Auckland Grammar School pulling further and further ahead.
Oh wow, this is really starting to pull in Auckland Grammar's favour. What I was going to touch on before though, that was such a close engage down in bot lane. It really could have gone either way, but Maximu managed to just perfectly time and exhaust on Eevee just as he unleashed his burst damage. That there would have reset him, being able to kill both players and get out safely. The fact that he held that summoner so well and used it at the exact point of burst damage was the game changer for Auckland Grammar there.
Yeah, and Iku showing up late to the party as well. I know he wanted to be there, but the fight was already over. Players were already dead. And it was just him sitting there 1 versus 2 in the bot lane. 2 free kills to Naive. Artiferns 1 for 0 as well. Elliptic 2 for 0 now. The CS lead grows as well. Now the bot lane is further ahead in CS. 125 to 120. Top lane as well. Every single lane right now is basically ahead of CS on the Auckland Grammar side.
Yeah, and aside from just the CS, going into a little bit of a pause here, but aside from the CS, we just saw 4 pink wards down on the map for Auckland Grammar. So much vision control, and some of that was really deep in Iku's jungle. We saw him putting that pressure on the bot side to try and get Eevee ahead. He hasn't been able to do that yet. Now, his jungle is being completely taken over. Elliptic and Artifernes are just going to be able to roam in there, try and shut him down even further. One other thing is, all of the players actually have an additional pink ward. You can only lay 1 at a time. There's 4 on the map, and they all have 1 in their inventory at the moment. They are looking just to spot them out and make sure that they make no mistakes. If you see where Macleans is coming from, then there's no way for them to be able to effectively engage you, which means if you've got a lead, you can hold that lead so very easily.
Speaking of leads now, Zai in the top lane on the Wukong is currently a little bit behind. He does have teleport available. Should he be potentially focusing a teleport down bottom for those engages in the bot lane? Or is it too late for him? Is that not going to be... Maybe the better solution for him right now is to stay and farm top? Or does he need to help other lanes?
No, so we've seen them going head-to-head in the top lane. Not much jungler interaction up that side. And he's still managing to lose out to Tai on that Maokai. Maokai's just got that little bit of bonus tanky stats. The base damages are really coming in right now. Until he's got a Black Cleaver on Wukong, it's not going to be able to shred through the armor that Maokai has. We're seeing him already losing trades, losing CS. You've just got to try and shove the lane in, get out of there. Go help your bot side, get Eevee rolling, because as we were saying before, that is your highest chance right now. If you're not winning the lane yourself, and it's too much of a risk to pull Iku up to that side, which is already covered with wards, now it's just go down to the bot and try and focus somewhere else.
So Maokai, the only player so far, well, I mean Jana as well, but Maokai, basically the only player on the map for the side of Auckland Grammar that hasn't picked up a kill yet. I don't actually know if he's going to assist either. He may be the only clean-slated player on the entire team, which means Artiferns is currently ahead, Naive is currently ahead, and the jungler Zac as well is also currently ahead, which is basically, if you consider that to be all lanes ahead.
It is, that across the board, he's got that CS lead. Maokai versus Wukong, it's not going very favourable for Macleans in this situation. As I was saying though, it's not over for them. They do have a very good way to actually go and engage, and they have a composition which, if it does start to get ahead, they can really start rolling through a fight. Pick up one person, and then all of a sudden, the next person is out of position. Tristana, jump on, be able to do that. But it's really, really down to picking the fights. It could have gone so well for them if they managed to win that bottom trade, but the Tristana ultied away the Israel just before the kill came through, and that was the main difference there, is if the kill came through there, all of a sudden it's a 2 for 0, but instead it's 0 for 2, you lose the CS, you lose so much pressure on the map.
Perfect summoner usage as well. You did highlight the exhaust coming out from Maximu. Also Naive pulling up the clutch heal at the right time as well, just keeping him in survivable range. Now Eevee playing very aggressive under turret fire, even in turret range. Bot lane, definitely a bit of a swing. We've seen 2 swing moments so far for these teams. The first gank in the mid lane, Zai coming down with the rotation, wasn't successful. Now in the bot lane as well, Eevee going on to Naive and Max Move, also not successful. We do need to, Macleans do need to somewhat still try and get Eevee ahead, but who can they now go for on the side of Auckland Grammar to try and put themselves ahead?
Okay, so Auckland Grammar, their bot lane, it goes to, and we're looking like we're back into the game. So yeah, the flash is still up for Jana at the moment, but if you're to focus her down twice, then essentially, well, if you manage to pop it the first time, she's a very, very easy target to then be able to focus on. Israel's gone for a tier. He's not going to be able to power spike too hard at the moment. He is ahead, but he's only going to get stronger. So You can try to shut Jana down and then pressure the Israel off the CS and maybe look to kill him.
Speaking of pressure though, mid lane, just a few trades being made for a nice air wall to block out the death laser. Gravity Field won't catch anybody. The bot lane trading is still happening. Concussive blows. Can he make the fourth attack onto Maximum? It won't be the case. Lamy being chunked up very heavily though. Eevee trying to disengage here. The true shot will get blocked up by the shield. Good usage there by Lamy. They will be able to get themselves out alive, but they are still losing the lane. That will cost them precious CS time.
Yeah, and you can't just go in those 2v2 trades at the moment. Israel, although he takes a while to charge up, he has some very significant items here. He's able just to poke and they can just disengage. Continue doing that. There's no form of sustain for Macleans. If they lose that bit of health, all of a sudden, they can't go in for those trades anymore. So what we're seeing is Auckland Grammar just posturing up, Maximu trying to take the damage, and Naive just outputting so much more.
So Auckland Grammar School taking the first blind, taking the first dragon, and they just took the first turret as well. Elliptic wants to go for a solo on this Ocean Drake, but actually Zaya is chunking him straight out. Maximu now to potentially peel him away. The Zephyr does land. The dragon is still actually chunking out Zaya. Will there be a fight starting here? Naive to take the Winters by Artiferns, though. Watch out for him on the backside. Elliptic, there he goes. The slingshot bounce everybody up. The monster comes down as well. Glacial Official, who can it land on the teleports as well? Marcy Rob picks up Elliptic. Zai is so low right now. Naive takes down Lammy. And now Ty taking down Zai. It's looking all the way of Auckland Grammar School's a double kill for Naive.
Yeah, and Macleans get their first one on the board, but it is just not quite enough here. The Dragon going over to Auckland Grammar as well. Another Ocean Drake's going to help that regeneration just a little bit more. Keeping Israel full of mana, able to do that poke situation. Really try and whittle down the Macleans lineup even further. But next up, we've got an Infernal Drake, and that could be a turning point.
That's going to be the big one. Now, the conclusion of that fight was a 3-for-1 trade. It went in the favour of Auckland Grammar, but let's take a look at what it did do for Macleans. They did finally get themselves on the scoreboard. They picked up Elliptic, the very first kill. That went to Master Yi wrong. It may be something pushed them slightly ahead, but it is still 8-for-1 crunch. Let's take a look at the replay again. The first shot Winter's Bite going on to Naive. Expect the jump in from Elliptic. There he is, going straight to Master Yi wrong, and then straight chunking through the players, all on the Macleans side. Zai trying to do best he can on the bottom side, gets a flash in. Actually, a lot of players on the Maokai as well. Lammy's the first player taken down, followed very quickly by Zai, giving a double kill to Naive before they secure that Ocean Drake.
And looking back at that, Iku tried to dive really deep into the Auckland Grammar lineup. Obviously, they thought they had the advantage. They thought it was going to be a 5 versus 4. Ty was just keeping it cool. He kept pushing that entire time, knowing he had the teleport. Oh wow.
Oh, before we get to that though, more action in the mid lane. Elliptic and Artifer's potentially in trouble here. Elliptic going to get stunned up by the concussive blows. Artifer's as well, but he's going to clean up Naive, even with the snipe with a true shot barrage. Iku now, it's a 1 versus 2. He's got nothing left to go for him. Artifer's picks up 2, that's a double kill. He's now 4 for 0. No, that's a triple kill for Artifer's.
Wow. Auckland Grammar just pulling the trigger with a beautiful ult from Naive to completely turn that fight. They couldn't see it coming, and it just cleans up 2 of those kills so nicely. Wow. Now 11k gold lead at 17 minutes. It's looking very, very grim for this Macleans lineup.
Yeah, certainly, and Thai AE 86, even still in the bot lane, trying to take down the bot lane turret. All the turrets are basically in the favour of Auckland Grammar School right now. In fact, Macleans have no turrets to their name, they have no dragons to their name, and only 1 kill on the scoreboard. They're locked up almost within their base now. The map is entirely opened up for Auckland Grammar School.
And there is CS leads across the board on top of that. Nearly a perfect game. If they didn't drop that single kill, it would be very close to it. Zach could have had passive there. He might not have even gone down, so it was just very close on that front. He's got back up now though, so it's going to be even harder to kill him this time around.
So not only are they hidden CS, the hidden kills, but the itemization as well. Israel, Naive, he's picking up now, going for his 3rd item. Tristana, Eevee, he's only picked up the Infinity Edge and a Boots. He's so far behind in items. Mid lane as well, so far behind. 2nd item item about to be completed now for Artiferns and Hexdrinker and Mercurial Treads as well. The Magic Dealer, specifically Marcy Eurong, will be doing very little to Artiferns.
Yeah, and this is where the Macleans composition is going to find a very hard way to come back to this game. Everyone is building semi-tanky stats, like the Hex Drinker coming in early. You've got a bit of armor going onto Israel with that Iceborne Gauntlet, and everyone else has built pretty much pure tank stats. Now, Tristana has no way of being able to effectively start resetting without maybe a 5 versus 1 or 2 pick. But that's how they can get back in the game. They really need to just run as a group and try and isolate targets. There's no way that they can fight them 5 versus 5 at this stage.
And it's going to be somewhat difficult to isolate targets. Jana Maximu does have quite a bit of disengage as well. He does have the Helen Gale, has the Monsoon as well. We'll get to that later. Zai and Tai 86 chunking each other down bot, but don't think Zai will be able to go down here. Maybe he will. Twisted Advance does find him. Sapling toss to follow as well. Naive getting pushed into the turret, but Naive is so far ahead. Can he get cleaned up by Lammy? Lammy's by himself now. No, he accuses there as well. Elliptic wants some trouble though. He does jump in. Artiferns now picking that kill up. Aku and Marcy Eurong, the only defenders on the top lane. There's 4 attackers from Auckland Grammar School, and Artiferns is absolutely dominating.
And they're losing control of their own jungle. That vision, those pink wards are still there. They can see the movements of Macleans. Although they think they're getting the jump on Auckland Grammar, they're just responding so well. They know that they're moving there and they're able to respond, turning all of the fights around. It's been the story of this game. Every time Macleans engage a fight, Auckland Grammar just respond so much quicker and so much better.
Yeah, and you know, back to itemization, Eevee wanted to go for the solo engage on Naive. Now, I'd be pressed to say maybe he even got the perfect engage. He got the buster shot directly into the turret, but with the Iceborne Gauntlets, it does give Naive a bunch of armor. Now, Eevee is struggling to chew through the armor, even on the ADC.
It's also being, well, I think it might have been 5-0 at that stage, is probably going to be a big factor. It's very, very hard to duel someone that is that much stronger than you. Also got 2 levels, which gives you base armor, more health, more damage. That needs to be taken into account as well. You can't just take fights based on the fact that you think your champion is stronger in a 1 versus 1. You need to look at the items, you need to look at the level difference.
Yeah, and that fight also pushes Artiferns further ahead now, 5-0. In fact, Naive 6-0. The last time I saw these guys in action, it was actually Naive picking up the majority of the kills towards the mid to late game. That time it was on Jin, this time it's on Israel, and now Auckland Grammar setting up for this Baron.
Yeah, they've got some good vision control deep in the jungle to see if they can come there. If they manage to clear out the Baron vision, they don't need to take it. All they need to do is just bait it. Zac can just jump straight over the wall. Israel, jump over the wall. Maokai can potentially, if someone gets close enough, do the same thing. Yasuo, just follow up with an ultimate, and there's your fight. There's the way for you to get rid of the Macleans lineup to actually push through and get their base. You don't even need to take the Baron, you just need to use it as a tool.
In the case that Auckland Grammar does want to go for this Baron play, is there any chance for Macleans to try and engage it? Is there any way for them to engage? Is the Baron throw possible for Auckland Grammar?
Oh, absolutely. The fact that if the Baron swings over, that is the window in. There's no turrets taken for Macleans at the moment, but Baron buff is very good at helping with that. Now, they're still significantly behind, but if they manage to go around and pick up some of that turret gold as well as the Baron stats and gold, that's a massive window for them to actually get their team composition rolling again.
So third Drake now, that was the Infernal, that was the big one going onto Auckland Grammar. Once again, 3 Drakes for 0, and we talked about how crucial Infernal is, and it's just going to push Naive and Artiferns further ahead with the damage. Muramana now completed for Naive as well. He finished his stacks. He also has Blade of the Ruin King. His build right now is so deadly.
Yeah, Israel has fully charged now. Those are the 3 items that really matter on him. From here, he can just go, oh, they're starting the Baron though. They've seen them in the mid lane and there's no way they can respond. This is a very good sneak in here by Auckland Grammar, and there's no way Macleans is actually going to be able to get there in time.
Yeah, and look at the warding positioning though. There's not even any wards to contest the Baron. They didn't even really see that. All the 5 players of Auckland Grammar basically disappeared. Minus, of course, Tai 86 in the bot lane on the Maokai getting the solo turret destruction. Macleans left, wandering around, looking for their feet, wondering what just happened in those last few moments.
Yeah, in a situation where right across the map you've got people ahead with either just normal gold leads from the towers going down, CS leads across the board, it's very hard for any individual to try and stand up. You need to be able to communicate as a team, and it just seems like in this situation they're not able to do that. They're a bit despondent, and that's just generally the pressure of the situation. There's so much on the line. Now they should just be looking to reset and look towards the next game. What did we do wrong and how can we stop it? Because it's going to be a very hard comeback from here.
Yeah, and they're so far behind the fact they've still got the tier 1 boots onto their players, Iku and Lamy, yet to even pick up any second tier boots. They're just struggling to find gold right now. And, you know, even with the waves pushing in, because there's no super minions, the waves, they can't even get the bonus gold potentially off that. But in a sort of way, it does keep their base alive. So now all they can do is defend here. The siege has started. The Baron buff super minions chunking down the tower in the mid lane.
And Artifernes is showing in the top lane now. Baron buff on the 3 in mid and Maokai. They're going for a 1-3-1. Baron buff empowers your minions. It really helps you take down those turrets. Splitting it up across the map means that you're utilizing it to its full potential. No one can duel Artifernes at this stage. The Maokai is too tanky. If anyone goes to fight him, you're opening up a complete other lane to be able to be taken.
Do they have to fight Artifernes though? Can they try for engage 5v4? Is that possible? Is that solution on the cards for Macleans?
It was when Artifernes was near that top turret. Although now he's actually pressuring the top lane so hard, the second that they go for that 5 vs 4 engage, even if they lose it, he's going to take an inhibitor, he's going to take a turret, and that is the goal for Auckland Grammar. Break the base and get that way to go in. This is the hardest part of the game, is taking that inhibitor turret, and we're about to see it go down now.
And 3 inhibitor turrets potentially going down. Look at the top. Middle will be the first to fall. I haven't seen the bot one's health yet, but certainly it can't be very high. The middle inhib already on half. Macleans still not sure about what they need to do here. The top will fall next if Macleans do not find a way to get in on this fight. Maokai still in the bot. Teleport can use. Here comes Iku. He finds an engage. Elliptic and Artifernes on the back line. Evie will be the first target. Master Yi wrong now to follow. It's a double kill for Artifernes. Another knock-up though. Lamy is trying to do all he can. But Zai gets picked down, Lamy to follow. It's a double kill for Naive and a double kill for Artifernes. They do get the ace, and now they will claim the Nexus turret. They will claim the Nexus in game 1 in the grand final of the AMES Secondary Schools Esports Competition.
And you could not have asked for a better first game. Apart from maybe that 1 kill, that was literally going to be a perfect game for Auckland Grammar. Not dropping a single objective or turret across the map. Beautiful play by them. Artifernes stepping up, but it's on the back of everyone across the map, really.
Name of the game, ban out Yasuo, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
They forgot to ban out the Yasuo, and this is what happens.
Yeah, the best in the country fear his Yasuo so much. Now, a secondary schools competition, you've got to respect that that's his best champion.
Okay, so there's a few key engages. I keep going back to basically the first 2 moments in the game that for me really swung the entire game in Auckland Grammar's favour. Now I know Artifernes is good on Yasuo, but that wasn't really the only reason they won. The mid engage, Zai coming down, that was potentially a big mistake. I did say the top lane rotating into the mid, why didn't the jungler just do that instead?
Yeah, I think that was just a miscommunication. They obviously thought maybe the jungler could show elsewhere or be present down towards the bot side. Maybe if they saw him on a ward there, then you'd see Artifernes overstep, knowing that that's probably where the pressure would be, trying to shut him down. Zai was so close to being able to pull that off, but it was a very high risk, high reward situation for him there. It obviously didn't pay off, and we saw him get behind in levels. When you're up against a tank, they don't need damage, they need levels. Every time you level up, that's more damage coming in on your skills. You get stronger that way. And we saw him fall behind there, and he wasn't able to even hold his own in that lane, putting all the pressure down towards the bot side.
Yep, and speaking of the bot side, this next engage to highlight here, the Tristana and Braum 2v2, Evie and Lamy going in against Naive and Maximu. That was the next moment for me where it really went wrong for Macleans.
No, you're spot on there that it was just such a close engage. It could have gone either way. As I said, it was a split-second reaction time from Maximu that saved that lane. If Evie got ahead, it would have been so easy to roll it out. But such a good game from Auckland Grammar, and we're really looking forward to game number 2. Will Macleans be able to reset? We'll see after this.
And we are back. Game number 2 will be starting very shortly. Once again, I'm Kevin Avril Walker, and joined with me is Cam Crunch Russell. Now, we just saw Auckland Grammar School completely annihilate Macleans College in that very first game on the Rift.
Yeah, annihilation, although, you know, it's a brutal word, is probably the best way to describe that. Only 1 kill on the board for Macleans, not a single objective. Such a clean game by Auckland Grammar. They pushed their vision line up. They managed just to completely deny Macleans any way of coming back. But at the start of that game, it really could have swung either way. Some amazingly close trades and a good attempt by Macleans to try and get their team ahead.
Absolutely. We talked about the compositions of both teams, and it could have gone either way if certain plays had gone differently. Now, the Tristana played the bot again. If Evie got the double kill in bot, how different would that game have been?
Well, we saw Evie obviously very confident on that champion, trying to go up against that Israel and solo kill him even when that far behind. Imagine if he had a couple of kills under his belt and Israel's then put behind. If he's able to then go and try and pick him out and duel him that way, it would have been such an easy way to start snowballing him. All of a sudden, maybe the first turret would have been that bot lane turret for Macleans. Huge amount of gold now that they've changed that. The first turret blood is that extra 400. That's the same as first blood. Getting that extra gold, you're so far ahead. 3 kills and potentially a CS lead.
And they could have absolutely have pressured that bot first tier turret, because Iku, the jungler on Rek'Sai, was also just behind them. He wanted to get that engaged, but just a little bit too late once again. Now, the 3 of them, the 3 champions, assuming they all lived through the engagement, could have definitely have pressured down that bottom tier turret. And that could have definitely swung things very differently in Macleans' favour. Now, let's go back into the pick and bans. The drafting has started now. Macleans on the blue side with Auckland Grammar Schools after taking a 1-0 so far in the series. On the red side, Nidalee and Na, the first bans. Yeah,
Nidalee is obviously a very, very strong jungler at the moment. Top tier, often first picked by teams both in the NZGC and globally. Elliptic showed up huge in the jungle that last game. All tournament, in fact, he has been such a just core composition player. He's really just enabled his team by being all over the map and there at the right time. Nidalee gives so much mobility. Great ban away. But Zach is the second one. I'm expecting the Yasuo to probably come in as the third, because that was pretty brutal.
It was pretty brutal, but maybe, you know, Macleans have a different plan. They didn't ban out Yasuo the first time. I don't know if that was an oversight or part of the plan. This time, though, they need to re-look at that composition. Do they let the Yasuo through? Do they not let the Yasuo through?
Yeah, there it goes. There goes Yasuo.
And
yeah.
it is
I was
gone.
about to say, please don't let it through. Just there's so many ways that you can build around it. Obviously, the Zac was very influential in how to get that engage. We saw such a good Zac ult in the end, knocking 4 people up. The Yasuo ult came through later, only catching a couple of them, but it's so easy to be able to combine those 2 champions. So taking both away, it's a very, very smart decision.
So Ty 86 picking up the Maokai once more. We actually didn't even see much action from the Maokai because the rest of the 4 players from Auckland Grammar School was doing so well that Ty 86 didn't even need to TP in. He wanted to TP in for the first engage, but cancelled that when it wasn't required. In fact, we barely saw him engage for the majority of the game. They more or less had the pressure down pat. 4v5 even. Once again, Auckland Grammar School very much focused on banning up the top champions. Last time they banned out Na and Irelia, and I think they banned out the Azir as well, so they're following the exact same ban pattern. This time though, Elliptic will be trading his jungle champion over to Rek'Sai, giving the Zac away through the ban. Zai this time going to be picking up the Gragas for Iku. Now we saw Macleans College use the Gragas. In fact, we saw both teams at several stages yesterday and day 1 pick up the Gragas to great effect.
Yeah, he's certainly been a very, very strong pick. He's had a slight nerf to his combo where his ultimate just takes that little bit longer to come out if you manage to hit the body slam or if it's in close range, but it's still very, very effective in the right hands. Being able to just isolate targets, split them up, and start focusing down on one. And with Braum being able to apply his passive there, you can CC lock a single target very, very easily. But with Auckland Grammar's composition coming out with Maokai and Rek'Sai can build very tanky. That's a good front line for them to be able to essentially use in holding that. So it's going to be very, very hard for Gragas to actually make a good engage through that huge front line.
So, Grammar School picking up the Giant once again for their team. Maximu will be the one being piloting to the Giant. Arda Ferns, though, back onto his Jace pick. We saw that on day one. Master Yurong also plays a Jace, but it will be going to the hands of Arda Ferns. He doesn't get his Yasuo, but it seems like his second most favoured pick is actually the Jace.
Yeah, and his Jace came out in the very first game in this tournament, and he was very, very fierce on Jace. He's also looking, I was going to say, to pair up probably with that Ezreal again, and you've got so much poke, a front line, and disengage from Janna. For Macleans to actually be able to get in and start killing the priority targets, which is really only Jace and Ezreal, it's so hard for them to get through. They're going to have to try and find flanks, they're going to have to try and utilize vision in order to catch them out, because in a standard setup, once the turrets are obviously in a siege position and the wards on the sides, you can't get to that back line.
Now we also see the Lucian pick up. I haven't even touched up on the bot lane yet. Iku picking up the Braum for his teammate Lammy in the bot lane support. This time though, Eevee wants to go for the Lucian. This is a man of many ADC champs. We've seen the Caitlyn, we saw the Tristana, now he's going on to the Lucian. I actually like this composition better. Lucian and Braum combo is one of the deadliest bot lanes in the game.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's going to be able to really punish any oversteps from Naive on that Ezreal. So close in those trades last time, and it could have gone either way, but unfortunately, Eevee just got behind. Now he's on a champion that can power spike so much easier. Going into Youmuu's Ghost Blade gives such an early spike. It really can punish Ezreal, and as we talked about last time, Ezreal takes a little bit to power up. So now they're trying to swing the favor back into the early game stages where they really suffered last time.
So Lucian also one of the key pickups for a Black Cleaver, giving him additional options to take down tanks as well. Maokai and Rek'Sai may be somewhat difficult to take down. We did see Tristana, when Eevee was playing Tristana last match, he had trouble taking down targets. In fact, he had so much trouble chewing through armor when Naive picked up the Iceborne Gauntlet. It gave him enough armor to even carry him through to the solo 1v1 engages.
Yeah, very, very good point there. With the armor pin from Black Cleaver and Youmuu's combining, that is a very good way to be able to shred through that front line. However, it does drop off towards the later stages of this game, so you really need to try and make use of that power spike and get ahead and be able to punish those tanks. Try and really snowball a lead if you can manage to get it, and Braum Lucian is a good way to do that.
So, Auckland Grammar School, they went for the exact same bot lane composition, Janna and Ezreal. This time though, instead of playing against Tristana, it will be Lucian Braum. Is this a more difficult matchup now for Janna and Ezreal?
So, yes, it is going to be a harder matchup for them, just for the fact that Ezreal really relies on going into a tier, whereas Lucian can just build that pure damage, and his damage output is very, very high. Combined with the fact that he gets double procs on the passive from Braum, which means the stun is going to be much easier to actually apply. We saw that being a problem where Eevee just quite couldn't get the last stun off, and quite a few of those early trades, and that was probably the difference in it being a kill to Eevee and the double kill going over to Naive.
Now, you've mentioned that Auckland Grammar School, the way they've picked their composition, it is very much a poke and siege comp, right? So, could the plan be here for Auckland Grammar to take their fights very slowly? Do Macleans College want to play a bit more aggressively here? They do also have the Echo, and we haven't touched up on that just yet.
Yeah, so Iku last time, he really struggled to make an impact in the jungle. He just really wasn't able to get those early ganks, which I was saying. Zach is able to farm. Zach ended up doing more ganking, and that was where the game ended up essentially swinging. So, this time around, he's on Gragas. Gragas has a very potent gank as well. Towards the bot side, you've got more damage with Lucian. You've got Gragas, who's got very good engage in isolation with that ultimate. So pre-6, or well, when Gragas is 6, and before the bot lane hits it, hopefully you'll see him go down, try and kill either Maximu or Naive, and that will be a much, much better situation for Macleans heading into this one, going with that early lead and trying to then control the game from there.
So I want to bring the focus onto top lane a little bit as well. So Zai this time picking up the Echo on the top lane. He had the Wukong last game. It wasn't very effective for him. Early mistakes may have cost him that game though. This time though, he's picking up the Echo, going into Maokai once more. How is that matchup going to go for him? Is he going to have a better game?
So Wukong, high risk, high reward champion. Echo, you've got so much more safety. He's got a gap close that can go over walls naturally without having to actually target something. He's got an ultimate to get him out to safety. He can build tank, he can build more damage, and he's effective either way. So it's a much more versatile champion that if he makes a mistake on, it's far less forgiving, and there's always a way to come back on.
Yeah, and Jace, obviously a very high skill capped champion as well. A lot of room for outplays, a lot of room for showing his individual ability to duel as well. Maybe even more so, a lot more so than what Wukong is capable of doing. So I think Echo will be able to bring a lot more utility to the team composition this time around.
Absolutely, and also quite a bit of split push power if you see him build into that Triforce. There are so many different ways that you can build Echo. Typically we do see him go into the Triforce to be able to split push, because if he gets ahead, he can really start punishing a lane and take down turrets quickly, because we saw Macleans struggle to take down any turrets in that last one. That should be a priority this time. Try and get those turrets rolling. While Israel has a lack of wave clear, you need to try and push Lucian in there, try and push the top lane in as well, and really start focusing on it. But we're going into game now, so let's see how it rolls out.
Here we go. Game number 2 has begun. The champions have entered the Rift. This time, Macleans on the blue side with Auckland Grammar School, 1 game ahead on the red side. Who will take it down this time around on game number 2? Macleans, this is a must-win in a best-of-3. If they lose this, Auckland Grammar will be able to take the championship. They will finish the grand final 2-0 in a convincing fashion. Macleans, last chance for them.
Yeah, and it's such a high-pressure situation. We've got them live in the studio, obviously. The first time that they've come into this sort of situation. You're playing in front of so many people watching on Twitch here. It's going to be very hard for Macleans to compose themselves after the last game, but we hope that in that break, they've gone, they've reset, and now they've talked about their win conditions and are going to follow through with that.
They certainly needed to take a little bit of time to re-look at how they're going to approach these situations. Now, last game, a lot of the focus was on the mid. And the early ganks were all onto mid. A lot of pressure on Artiferns, but it actually put him further ahead. Do you think Macleans should, or will they even, go for that mid lane pressure once more?
Well, the team's name is Eevee Will Carry. So, by rights, I thought the pressure would be down on Eevee, trying to get him ahead on that Tristana last game. Now that he's on Lucian, if he does get given an inch, he can really take a mile in this matchup. So, hopefully we'll see him go down there. Victor can have a lot of kill potential on Jace, but only sort of at level 6 once he's got a bit more damage coming through.
Artiferns actually taking a bit of an early trip into the blue side jungle, maybe looking to pop a ward down, potentially just taking a little bit of a scenic photograph session though. Mid lane finally getting there.
Yeah, and there was we're seeing obviously bot side start in the same fashion, taking those cruds or bot side jungle camps, trying to get that level 2 to ensure that the bot lane doesn't get an advantage. There's been so much pressure around that side of the map. 10 people came down there at 11 minutes last time, so you know we can expect there to be quite a bit of brawl going down here straight off the mark.
Yeah, I do expect, you know, potentially if Eevee is your carry, they do need to apply a little bit more pressure. That's Macleans to snowball that bottom lane. Now, depending on what happens in the mid lane, I do believe AGS, Auckland Grammar School, they may be looking to snowball Artiferns again though.
Yeah, and Artiferns is already up 9 CS.
Wow.
And the game's only been...
And he was late to lane.
Yeah, minions only spawned a minute and a half ago. They take 30 seconds to run to lane, and he's already 2 waves ahead. How does he do that? I honestly have no idea how the mid lane's gone, but that's a very impressive start from him.
You know, maybe he's completely pressured up Master Yi wrong. Maybe he's just being outclassed in this mid lane so far. It's a really good start for Artiferns, but you actually look at Iku's positioning now. Potentially wants to help his mid lane out. Elliptic still a little bit far away at the moment now. Jace, Artiferns taking a bit of a trip down through, gets the shock blaster. That was an empowered one as well. It will chunk out a bit of health onto Iku's side, make it a little bit more difficult for him to jungle through. Now back to the mid lane, and it didn't even really give Master Yi Wrong that much of an advantage CS-wise. Now Master Yi Wrong had a few moments there to just solo CS.
Yeah, and without that potion being able to be... without a refillable potion on Iku, he's got to stop being able to take those extra bits of poke damage. The gold efficiency of that item is so good if you can just keep reusing it. Although,
it's an invade.
Oh yeah, we're seeing Elliptic come in to try and take down Iku here.
Yeah, a possible early action onto bot as well as Isku wants to help out this bot lane. It is shoved up very deep though. Naive and Maximu getting a little bit aggressive there. Iku's going to not actually do that. He will take the recall instead, and in fact his counterpart Elliptic on the other side of the map will go back to his own jungle. Lammy now below half health.
Yeah, and Zai is starting to trade significantly better in that top side, but he's still falling behind in CS, which is a worry to say the least when he's focusing so hard on the trades, but he's only got a refillable potion versus a corrupting potion.
Yeah, so he is somewhat ahead in the trades, but he's behind in CS, and this was much of the story of the last match as well. Mid behind on CS, top behind on CS. This time though, Eevee, he is still catching up.
Yeah, it's...
Or keeping up, I should say.
Yeah, the bot lane's going to be certainly an interesting matchup to see who, if none of them are actually going to get any kills, can just get that natural lead. And we saw a cannon minion drop there. That's effectively 3 minions that he just dropped from that. The gold is far more efficient there, so we've got to take little things like this into account as well.
Yeah, little plays do make a big difference. Maximu, we talked about how clutch his ability usage was last game. He got the Howling Gale off onto Eevee just in time so that Eevee would actually miss out on the cannon minion, so that was pretty clutch. Masi Wrong doing a little bit of poke in the mid lane to Artiferns or Elliptic watching from the side. Here comes the engage. Could this be the first one? Gets the knockup. Gravity Field will lock Artiferns in place. Masi Wrong with the counter trade. It is not effective. Elliptic, he does get a bit of pressure on Masi Wrong, but Artiferns does not secure any kills. Masi Wrong will get out of that one alive.
And Arda was out of mana. He was going to try and knock him back so that if he flashed, it would pretty much put him in the exact same spot as before the knockup. So, just that little bit of mana was the difference between there, but he's managed to pull the flash of Master Yi Wrong. Without that, it's going to be such easy ganks next time Elliptic comes around.
Yeah, all he's got now is a Ghost and a Gravity Field. The Gravity Field is just not really... It's not consistent enough. You need the players to actually be able to stay in there. You've got to lock them inside the Gravity Field to maintain the stun. So mid, maybe pressure now. Iku may feel like he has to help Master Yi Wrong a little bit out now in the mid.
Yeah, Iku knowing that there's that pink ward down in the bot side of the river for Auckland Grammar here, he managed to actually dash over the Dragon Pit to try and avoid being seen, so that maybe he could come towards Artifernes and try and take him out.
So a couple of pings still coming around the mid, but the jungle is a little bit undecided here. No sneaky invades so far. The top has actually been entirely untouched. We see the junglers move slightly toward bottom. Check the wards, check for pinks. Go to the mids as well. We've seen the only gank in the game so far onto the mid lane, unsuccessful. Touch still on top. Can we go for round 2 though? There's not going to be a flash this time. There's a knock up onto Masi Rock. He's very low. Gravity Field, it won't be enough to save him. First blood in game number 2.
And it goes over to Artifernes, who's already got that CS lead. Now he's got the first blood gold. Significant lead on a Jace. Oh, but in bot lane.
Bot lane though, can there be a turnaround? If he wants to go in there, concussive blows, one more shot, needs to take it. Very low now, the turret will be coming in to support the side of Auckland Grammar School. Naive still in full health. He wants a little bit more damage at Maximus staying in this fight. Here comes this jungler though, Elliptic on the side lanes. Can he pick out Iku? Iku may be potentially in trouble there. There's the poke. Casket to go out as well. Both teams disengage.
Yeah, 2 flashes blown there with Maximus and Iku's. Now, Iku went in quite deep for that, but if there was a faster follow-up from his team to proc the Braum stun, then they wouldn't be in a position where they had to go under the turret to be able to finish off the Janna. It was just a little bit of a miscommunication and misplay there, but that could have been one on the board to get Eevee rolling.
It was a little bit of a late gank as well. When I saw Iku come in, Maximum was already on the way out. Zephyr being used as well. And then as soon as Elliptic came in, they knew they had to back off. Naive also on maximum health as well. So, unsuccessful gank so far. Auckland Grammar School still ahead 1-0 from that good gank by Elliptic in the middle lane.
And we're seeing Zai now pulling some of that CS back in the top lane. He's got a Sheen. It's going to give him bonus physical damage, whereas Maokai is starting to build magic resist. It's going to help him be able to trade, and we're also seeing him start going for that Triforce first. He's got a corrupting potion, he's got sustain, he's got damage. Hopefully he can try and pressure this lane to try and take the emphasis away from bot.
Underfern's going to pick up the blue there, going to give him much needed, well, he doesn't even really need it, but it will push him further and further ahead. We talked about the snowball advantage. Potentially, Auckland Grammar want to put Underfern's ahead again. It's exactly what's happening in this game. Now, the CS lead has once again extended in the middle lane, as well as that first blood kill to Underfern's as well. 81 CS on the Jace.
Yeah, and he's starting to look very scary. He's got the tier, and he's also got a very significant amount of damage with the serrated dirk and longsword combo there. So, we are going to see Iku coming down towards the bot side, but the vision control is just so strong from Auckland Grammar, and it has been last game as well as this game. Straight away, pink wards, 3 of them in the inventories.
So, top lane engaged. The junglers are still coming through the elliptic, potentially coming to help out.
Auckland Grammar's collapsing. They've got 3 members, but they're going to pull back.
Yeah, they look like they want to go back to mid, actually, deciding not the best engage. Nicely wrong, though, needs to identify that there's 2 players coming down for him. He does get the pings out there, so no full engages for either team. And Elliptic in between top and mid, deciding where he wants to go from here. Parallel Convergence actually connects onto Tire 86. But no follow-up there, and a bit of an invade from Elliptic.
Yeah, so Zai knew that Elliptic was on the top side of the jungle. He actually could have done a lot better in that trade, knowing that he was going to hit the stun. But without knowing exactly where Elliptic was, then all of a sudden he had to pull out, and he lost the trade because of it.
Yeah, let's take a look at bot, though. Iku does get spotted out. A little bit of wasted time, potentially. He has a double buff as well. He wants to get something done here. He needs to start snowballing one of his lanes. If it can't be the mid, it needs to be Eevee. Eevee has to carry this game. That's the name of their team, and it's going to be the name of the game. Elliptic, going to TP out for the time being. Top is safe. Zai and Master Eron will not suffer another gank for the time being.
Yeah, Iku's learned from last time, though, that he's got his own jungle with pink wards there, right at both entrances. Last time, we saw that completely lit up by Auckland Grammar. At least he's able to move through that side a little bit easier now. We were seeing him try to return on this bottom for a game, but still, Auckland Grammar has vision where it matters.
Now this time, can Macleans learn from the previous mistakes of the last game? Going to come out now. It will do quite a bit of damage to Maximu, whose positioning is quite forward. Glacial Fish should have dropped down. It doesn't catch him. Double TPs. Lamy wants to shield up. Defending against Naive. There's the exhaust from there. Naive picks up a kill already. Tire 86 now engaging onto Eevee. He's in a lot of trouble. Elliptic takes him down. What can Iku do now? It's 2v4 in the bot lane. And both Zai and Iku in a lot of trouble. Artifact picks up 1. Can he pick up 2? It will go to the Jana. And that is going to be 4 players down for 1. Against Macleans College, 5-1 of the score. Auckland Grammar School pulling further ahead.
And it's just such good communication from this Auckland Grammar team. Seriously, they have responded so quickly to each of these plays. Every time Macleans looks like they've got a good engage, Auckland Grammar just has such a good response to it. Very, very impressive communication for a high school team here.
And they get rewarded with the Mountain Drake as well. And in fact, Tire 86 getting a little bit of damage onto the first turret. Both teams still looking for the first turret blood. You mentioned how much of a gold advantage that could potentially give you. Most of the players from Auckland Grammar School went and rotated bot for that. We didn't see Master Euron do that.
Yeah, 4,000 gold lead already coming out, and close to 30 CS, 2 kills, now going on to Artiferni's Jace, a very potent champion at that. The Youmu's comes out with another longsword, big power spike coming up for him. Let's see whether he'll be the first to be able to pressure a turret down.
I actually think Artiferns right now has picked up the first major item of the game, the first major completed item. Seriously going to put himself ahead now. Youmu's with a massive armor pin. He's already demolishing mid. He's already having presence in other lanes. Can he be soft?
You've certainly got to put a lot of focus on him to try and shut him down now. He is a squishy champion that is building a lot of damage. He really doesn't have much health. They've got burst damage from Gragas. They've got burst damage from Gragas and Victor. But they need to be able to time it right. Some of these small miscommunications which Macleans has been having, they need to try and fix that problem and commit to a fight.
Actually looks like, speaking of fights, mid happening right now. Both junglers will meet each other, potentially.
No, they're just going to spot each other out and not going to go for that.
They'll just do a little bit of pings and a poke here and there. Just be really annoying. Jake's actually moving out as well towards his own blue. should be spawning up momentarily. We are still actually waiting for Eevee, the Lucian power spike, when he picks up a Yumus of his own.
Which he looks like he's just about to go back to base 4 now. Although Artiferny's got it 2 minutes earlier, and he's got that boot and tier. So although it's a great power spike for Lucian, he's still behind the pack.
He's behind the pack, but it may just be enough to push him ahead in the bot lane though, because picking up the Yumus going up against Israel, while Israel is still working on a Triforce. So actually, I think he's working on the Iceborne again. He's still got a tier, so potentially having the Yumus there will put him slightly in favour in the bot lane.
And that Iceborne is really going to be crucial to how they work this composition. As I was saying before, it's so hard to be able to get on the Israel and Jace through Maokai, Rek'Sai and Janna. They're not going to be able to do it if you're slowed by an Iceborne proc. He's just going to slow them down. Oh, you're seeing a trade go into top though. It's just a small one. These tanks aren't going to do anything. But, as I was saying, the Jace is going to be able to hit his Shock Blast combo so much easier if someone is slowed down to that amount.
Yeah, they're going to need a lot of work here. Macleans College, this is very similar to what we saw last game, though the mid-engage in particular. This time, though, it doesn't put Zai behind. It does still, however, put Master Yi wrong behind. Bot lane, though, it's not as bad as last time. You didn't give Naive a double kill. In fact, the opposite happened. You actually took down Naive. So maybe a slightly better early game for Macleans.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Yes, and it happened in the same sort of fashion where it was just such close trades, but these minor mechanical misplays, and that happens under pressure. It's a grand final. You've been playing the last 2 days constantly. You're now in a live scenario in the premier esports facility of New Zealand, playing in front of so many people. These are the small mistakes which you just can't make. Artiferny's at least has leadership, and he's played on the stage before, and I think it's coming out with his shot calling. I believe he was the shot caller of the team. He's leading them well. Macleans need to just focus, reset, try and get rid of those nerves and focus on the small mistakes that they're making, eliminate them, and just commit to each of these calls.
So Macleans right now, they're 1 for 5, picking up only 1 kill so far. They've lost a Drake. Turrets are still up though. They have that going for them. They do have 1 kill on Naive. They've got that going for them. What else can they do now? What else have they got going? How can they take this game back in their favour?
Power in numbers. They have a lot of potential to actually kill the squad of Auckland Grammar before they do that form up. As soon as you've got a 5-man unit where you've got the front line, you've got the Janna and the disengage and the poke all coming through at the same time, that's where Auckland Grammar's strength is going to come from. Although before they form up, they're weak individually as long as you're managing to get the numbers advantage. 3 versus 2 in the bot, probably 4 versus 2 is going to be safer. Though Auckland Grammar's response has been so onto it. Time those teleports, try and get that vision control, and just force those kills if it's the right opportunity, because if you don't, it's going to be a very hard situation later in the game to form up.
Elliptic has also been extremely active around the map. He certainly contributed to the majority of the kills had by Auckland Grammar, specifically in the mid, but also in that bot engagement as well. We saw the knockups happen. We saw really good teleports coming in from both teams, but Master Yi was missing there. It ended up being somewhat of a 5v4, which then gave them the Drake. All towers are still up. I think bot may be potentially the only lane right now. Actually, top has been somewhat untouched. We'll talk about top because Zai is not behind like he is last game. Can he be a lot more impactful now that he's still somewhat even with Maokai?
Yeah, he is. He's going even with Maokai, but now that the pressure's on the bot side, he's not going to be able to get too much help. He's going to be staying in that lane, and he's starting to pull away in a bit of CS here. Once the Triforce is completed, that's when he's going to be able to punish. There's no armor going onto the Maokai, so we actually could see him be able to pull something out here.
You see Artiferny from the backside though. Let's just give it a moment because Lammy takes the first chunk from the shockwave.
It's a decent amount of poke, but when they're full health and there's no real kill pressure, it's just him saying hello and essentially throwing something out to remind you how strong he is.
I exist in this game. By the way, that gave Master Yi a little bit of time to get the CS back up. Iku's still in the bot lane.
That was about a fifth of Braum's health just there. Let's just see how that ramps up during the game. Just note 1/5 of Braum's health now. Yeah. Later on, that's going to be a significant amount more coming out of a Jace.
Yeah, and that's from the Yumus, the significant armor pin there as well. So still 3 lane, 3 champions in the bot lane. Elliptic say, okay, Iku's seriously not leaving, so I'm going to come down and join him. Master Yi Rong even came for a little bit of a trip as well. We didn't see him rotate last time, we do see him rotate this time. Oh, that was a nice shock blast, right to the back. Takes some Raptors just for his time.
Yeah, and Iku is having such a hard time. Elliptic and Artifernes are just all through his jungle, constantly poking him, constantly just abusing his jungle, taking everything they can. Putting that jungler behind is probably the best thing that they could do, because he's the best way back in it for Macleans. If they can shut him down, it's such an easy opportunity for Auckland Grammar just to keep this lead. And that's all you need to do in this situation. Keep a lead and play safe. Your composition is so good if you can utilize it right in the late game. Just wait for Israel and Jace to both power up, get those Mirror Manas, get a couple of items, and then roll as a squad. Macleans need to try and find a window where they can make a big play.
And could this be a window? Zai wants to go for the timeline and gets the knockup. Here comes Artifernes. What's this play going to be? Zai wants to immediately disengage from this situation with a shock blast and so much damage, and that's Artifernes picking up Zai finally. We said Zai was going even, not so much anymore though. The bot lane turret though, can it go for Macleans College? They do get the first blood, that will give them some gold to put them back in the game.
Yeah, they ended up splitting it between their team though, so it would have been so much better just to give that over to Evie. He needs to get rolling here. He's got the Yomus. If he can get onto that early Black Cleaver, there isn't that much armor on the squad at the moment, but even just a Phage now would really start giving him mobility, be able to stick on players and snowball that a bit better.
Take a look at that kill as well. The time when it goes wide, Elliptic wants to go for the engage. He gets the knock up. Artifernes comes in. Zai wants to immediately get out of there. The shock blast does so much damage, and Zai has no further mobility to get him out of this situation. Master Yi Rong this time he cannot do anything to save his teammate. It always seems to be Master Yi Rong who wants to come in, but it's just a little bit too late.
We say that he had no more mobility there, but he had his ultimate up. He could have gone back. He had a flash up as well. If he managed to respect that Jace's damage just that little bit more, right, he could have ulted back, maybe flashed and escaped over a different wall with waiting on the cooldown of his E to come up. So just not quite respecting the amount of damage output that Jace can do when he is this far ahead, and that's just given him another window to go even further.
Speaking of windows though, there goes the Glacial Official. Maximum has to pop the Monsoon. Channel ended early. Can this be a pickup? Evie does get that kill. That's important. He needs something to put himself back again. Top lane's getting chunked out as well though. Elliptic coming in. Oh, gets blocked out by Iku, but still manages to get the knockup. Evie down. Lammy to follow suit. Elliptic wants Iku now. There's Artifernes coming in for the clean up. Master Yi Rong finally gets in there. Gravity Field does catch Elliptic, but it won't be enough. Naive picks up the double, and Artifernes gets out with just a speck of life.
Oh wow, that was the window to come back in. A beautiful play from Evie to get that initial kill, but it was just a bait. Auckland Grammar had already started to respond before that kill even happened. Artifernes is just getting there that much quicker than Master Yi Rong. The rotations around the map are just so crucial for Auckland Grammar's play right now. They are just utilizing it beautifully, and once again we're seeing them go down to the bot lane, recouping the situation down there, which looked bad for them, but now they're able to rotate that into a dragon and probably into either the mid top lane and looking at Rift Herald. Actually that's going down in a second. So
they didn't even have to use the teleport from Tie 86. Now, Zai didn't have a teleport. Tie 86 could have teleported if he wanted to, but he didn't even need to. Artifernes just completely cleaning that one up with Elliptic. The patience from Elliptic coming out. The only kill they secured during all of that was Maximu, and they trade 4 of their own players for that. This is very similar to the previous fight that we saw, where once again they traded 4 players only for Naive. This time it's a bit worse because they only take Maximu in response. And once again, just like the previous bot lane engage, AGS Auckland Grammar are rewarded with another Drake.
And we saw Ty holding his teleport so well last time, where a massive fight broke out on the bot side, and he held it for about 5 more seconds just to bait Macleans in that much further, meaning he could get the flank and he could go in there. His teleport play has been great this game.
Speaking of players, or Artifernes was a little bit more. There's a shockwave coming in, shock blast coming in, doesn't secure anything for the time being. Macleans may have picked up the first blood turret kill, but 3 turrets now in the favour of Auckland Grammar Schools. All of the outer turrets in every single lane have been taken out.
And knowing he has that teleport advantage over Zai, that's going to be up in a couple of minutes for him. But Ty going down the bot side. Oh, Zai losing to the jungler in trades at the moment. It's not a good sign for him. He's got the Triforce now, but he's still very squishy.
The positioning here now, Zai actually leaves, and that could be a mistake because the fight could break out, and Zai does not have a teleport to get in here to help. Look at the siege composition. We talked about the siege potential of Auckland Grammar School, and look at the health of Lemon. He does get a down. He wants to go for the glacial fissure. It doesn't really catch him. It will cost him his life, and now I don't believe they even have the ability to defend this turret.
Yeah, they had the 5v4. It's now a 4v4. But look how much they've managed to poke them down. The teleport's coming in from Ty, and the fight is going in Auckland Grammar's favour.
It is going to Auckland Grammar's favour as Marcy Erong does get a trade onto Naive, and he flashes out to safety as well. Oh, just misses the shock blast though. Evie gets himself out of there alive as well. Let's take a look at Zai. He's still alive. He gets caught out. He needs to run for his life. Elliptic wants to give chase.
Oh,
Elliptic is not giving this one up. The resonance stacks was on 2. Zai just going to make it out of that one. Time Winder to slow down Elliptic's chase. And Auckland Grammar School, they pick up another turret, and the inhibitor will be open very soon. In fact, I believe that was the inhibitor turret.
Yes, the inhibitor turret is down.
Yep.
What I was saying last game, that is probably the hardest thing to do in League of Legends, is break the inhibitor turret. You have to pressure yourself so much harder. Those turrets are so much stronger. Breaking the base is just so core.
So let's take a look at what has happened in this fight. It was the first engage coming out from Lammy, who got taken down. There's a teleport. Zai even went in with a chrono break onto 3 players. It wasn't enough. Iku got taken down by Naive, but the shutdown by Master Wrong, that was a beautiful play with the Chaos Storm helping as well. And look at that shock blast only narrowly missing Evie.
Yeah, and the way that Auckland Grammar played that allowed Elliptic to... Oh, we're just seeing Trey go down to Iku, and he could go down here.
Iku, potential to go down there. Winter's Bite does connect, though. Players still want to go in there. He does dash himself away. True Shot gets blocked up by Landy. Great usage of shield. And that's going to keep Macleans College alive for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Auckland Grammar can just poke.
Evie wanted to go a bit too deep. That may be a mistake. It is a mistake. Maximum punishes him. Elliptic getting a knock-up as well. And that could be defense potential gone for Macleans College as the inhibitor is completely open. Half out already. There won't be any defense onto the inhibitor.
There is no way that Evie could dash into this composition. If he dashes in, he has no way to dodge that shock blast. No way to dodge the poke or disengage. Such a bold move from him there, and it just did not pay off at all.
Is there going to be a counter engage though? Because Zai does channel the teleport. He is here now, but it is a 4v5. They were barely winning 5v5, but I don't know if they can take this back. There's a 3v5 land. He does land a Winter's Bite though. Turret trying to keep that alive. Master Wrong now joins the fight. A lot more siege coming out from AGS though. Can they even live through that? Look how much damage that enhanced. Shock Blast Dash. Q wants to go in there first. Elliptic will punish him with a knockdown. Knock up. There's a gravity field. It will catch a few plays. Maximum goes down to landing. It's actually looking okay for Macleans at the moment.
Yeah, so the damage coming out of Master You Wrong right now is quite significant. But imagine if Gragas managed to use that ultimate. He actually didn't get it off. He E-flashed into the middle of the team, and if he managed to do that isolation, throw people apart, and they could have taken 1 or 2 kills very easily there. Like, look how much damage they can output when they hit that combo. It was just, once again, such a good response where they could just lock him up with CC, and he couldn't actually get that off. Macleans, so close yet so far again.
I was actually quite surprised they went for that engage because Artiferns chunked them out so heavily. You saw Zai's HP. If you're an Echo and you know you have to get in deep to be able to do any form of damage, to be able to land your, get a parallel convergence play with a chrono break perhaps, you don't have enough health to do that, you will just die immediately. So I'm surprised they even went for that play. It was also played disadvantage, 4v5.
Yeah, if they managed to maybe split the front and back line, just take a couple of small kills, that's their way back in. They didn't need to hard engage the fight and try and essentially win at 5v5. Just try and pull 2 people towards you, push the other people back, and take just a couple of kills.
That's what Gragas can do.
Yeah, and that's enough time for you to maybe rotate in towards Dragon, set up for that, or just start pressuring the map elsewhere. Get your vision down and try and make those picks, because in the team fight situation, we've seen it's just not working for Macleans the way that it needs to. But if you have a numbers advantage, it is so much easier to just guarantee that you're going to come out of it with something.
Well, Macleans do get their numbers back as Eevee respawns on the Lucian. But the inhib is down, the super minions are coming in, and the map once again is opened up for Auckland Grammar School. This time though, Macleans do have 2 turrets in their name. They're doing slightly better objective-wise and slightly better kill-wise. They had more kills in this game than they did last game. The 3rd Drake in the game, now going to AGS again.
Elliptic has been an absolute monster this series. He has been all over the map. Look at his kill contribution. 12 out of 14. Such an impressive stat there, over 90%. So that's impressive at players at all levels. But we're seeing an engage go in, and Iku's trying to pick out Naive.
Let's see what kind of engagement potential we have here. The teleport's coming in, that's going to be tie 86. Gravity Field setting that one up already. True Shot Barrage being used. Iku's getting really chunked like he will fall. At the same time, Zai also falls, landing now. Caught in the middle, shields up, Bless Official down, but it won't be enough. Double kill for Naive. Can he pick up a triple Master? He wrong, trying to run for his life. Eevee will get out of that one, but it cost them 3 players, and it will cost them the Baron as well.
Yeah, that Baron is definitely going down, and it is once again quite a significant Baron to be able to push down the rest of their base. They've already got the first inhibitor, but now it's just going to open up the map that much more. It's very hard for Macleans to come back from this. As long as Auckland Grammar stay grouped, it's just going to be too hard now. There's so much tankiness on the Rek'Sai, on the Maokai, but you just can't get to that Israel, and he's able to chase you down if you overextend.
This is almost an even better situation for Auckland Grammar School than last game, because last game when they picked up the Baron, they still had all 3 lanes with the turrets, with the inhib turrets and the inhibs up. This time they have the Baron buff, but mid's already cleared. That means they can split themselves between top and bottom, and the mid super minions will be pushing in to pressure the Nexus turrets. So a much more dire position potentially for Macleans College.
13,000 gold, and this is only going to get bigger with these turrets that are about to fall. It is inevitable. You've got so much poker pressure here. The only way that they could really do this is force an engage before Elliptic could get there. 5v4, just take 1 or 2 kills and reset. Buy time, get rid of the Baron buff.
And it may be up to Iku to make that happen.
Oh,
wow, you saw that huge chunk up from the shot blast. Iku getting caught out though. He was far too forward. Naive picks him up. Baron buff still in play. Eevee, no health to engage whatsoever. The turret goes down, not an issue. And the inhibitor to fall shortly after his bot lane as well. Elliptic gonna pick up the solo turret kill, and it is minions all around. The red side AGS completely surround Macleans. They cannot even find a defense here. The Nexus turrets are even falling now. Look at the speed that they're dying.
Auckland Grammar are looking to close this out right now. They want this win.
Yeah,
they want to go to Motad.
This could be the final fight. As Lamby gets chunked out, he will get taken down out of first. Picks up a double. The Nexus is entirely open. This will be the game. Potentially 3 players still alive for Macleans. Can they defend this? 3 players alive for Auckland Grammar. But they go for the Nexus. The Nexus is falling. The Auckland Grammar School, they take out the championship. They win AMES. Secondary Schools Esports Competition Grand Final 2-0. We will be seeing them in Motad. Congratulations.
Wow, 48 teams come through. The top 2 are shown right there. But Auckland Grammar with such a dominant final. My God, they just came through so well there. 2 very clean games there. I'm very overwhelmed by how well those players performed and the communication at this level. So good to see secondary schools playing such good League of Legends.
Yeah, the amount of skill displayed, not even just from this team, but across the different teams. We saw a lot of teams play, and the amount of skill is just unnatural. You don't even expect the high school students to be this good, but they are seriously this good.
Wow, yeah. We see Auckland Grammar has Arda Fernies, but also Zero, who's an OPL player who couldn't actually play in this tournament because he's, obviously contracted to OPL. So It's got so many strong players coming out, but schools is the place to be able to foster this talent. All the young talent that's coming through is some of the top performers in Oceania right now. It's 16, 17, 18-year-olds coming through that are going to be so impressive. And schools tournaments like these are such a great way to be able to see all of the up-and-comers and also get that practice in.
Speaking of up-and-comers, we gave a lot of credit to both Evie and Artiferns, but actually Elliptic played out of his mind this entire series. Also, yesterday, the Junglers had a lot of impact. We had a lot of superstars. Lol B from Westlake Boys as well pulled out a pentakill, the only pentakill, I believe, of the entire tournament. So, a lot of superstars being developed, and as you said, just great to see from the high school level. I can't wait to see where they're going to go from here. I can't wait to see maybe in months, years' time, you could see a lot of these names, a few of these names playing at OPL level. Like you said, Zero lost, he's already there. He couldn't even play this in this tournament because he's already at OPL level. So the talent is there. I want to see what they can do next.
And you put it perfectly when it wasn't just down to Artifernes. His entire team was so good. Ty held all of his teleports so well that as soon as the overextend came from one person, it'd teleport behind and they'd just lock them down and roll the entire fight from there. In the bot lane, Maximu's use of exhaust and how clutch some of his plays were there completely flipped all of the fights there, enabling Naive to get ahead over Eevee, who was obviously the clear carry of Macleans. Just the entire roster of Auckland Grammar, very impressive play, and the synergy in itself was great. But Macleans, I have to say, were so close in some of these trades to being able to pull ahead in those early stages. We saw the ganks in middle, the ganks down bot, could have gone either way. It could have put them ahead, but it just so close in some of those small mechanical errors.
So now Auckland Grammar, they will be progressing on. They win this tournament, they win the AMES Secondary Skills Esports competition, but it's not over for them just yet because they will be now invited to the Idea Collective at Motat on the 12th of October to be playing in the pre-match exhibition for the NZGC final against Manurewa High School.
It's going to be such a good match as well. Manurewa looks like they've got a strong team. It's going to be interesting to see whether Auckland Grammar is going to be able to step up and take them down there. A great matchup. Artifernes as well, he's got to be battling his way through the NZGC brackets over the next couple of weeks. He could actually be in the pre-game and the final. So we're going to wrap this up by saying thank you to all of the sponsors that put this on. Secondary schools tournaments are so amazing for the League of Legends scene. The kids, when they came, or the students when they came in here, were just so ecstatic. The look on their faces. Thank you very much to AMES, Mighty 8, Plantronics for all contributing towards this. It was an amazing tournament.
Once again, I've been joined by Cam Crunch Russell. You've been amazing all throughout this tournament. I've been Kevin Averill Walker. We're going to send it back now to the Hexadome.
Yeah, well done, gentlemen. Thank you very much for making all the great calls through these two outstanding games. But we do have a winner. Did you enjoy that?
Oh, I definitely did. You know, up the line, got to see Grammar win another sport until St. Kitts and Kings can buy some more players.
I knew you would like that. I mean, he talked at the top about Auckland Grammar. I know you're an Auckland Grammar boy, but look, they put on a dominant performance. We can't take away from Macleans, though, because, you know, they made it all the way to this final in this competition, and they came up against some very good teams, didn't they?
Yeah, and it definitely wasn't easy for them to get here. Coming up against King, who were one of the crowd favourites, and to go against one of the best forces in high school League of Legends, Auckland Grammar, I think that's just a testament to their game. And they weren't easy games for Auckland Grammar either. It wasn't too short. They did take them out for quite a while.
They did. Well, look, let's catch up with the captain in the form of Evie from Macleans. Come on up and have a few words, mate. Now, obviously, disappointing result for you guys, but congratulations. I mean, obviously, on behalf of AMES Point and Click, you guys made it all the way to the grand final. You managed to be here in the Hexadome, the premier esport facility. Did you enjoy your time in the competition and also being here in the grand final?
Yeah. I mean, the whole tournament was really well organized. It was a great experience. I mean, never experienced anything like this before, and this place is, like, amazing. I'm really proud of my guys as well. And, I mean, I think we played well, but obviously they played better, and I think it's just unlucky, you know. I mean, everything was, yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Well, again, you know, look, congratulations. You should be very proud of you and the team, and obviously everyone that's watching back there at AMES, and obviously supporters that support you and the school. Congratulations for making it all the way. It wasn't meant to be today, but condolences to you and the team, and you guys go and celebrate tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Unfortunately for Macleans, you talked about it. Look, they came up against a very good Auckland Grammar team. We talk about Arta Ferns at the top. He's one of the top players, not only in this tournament, for everyone that's tuned in. Arta Ferns one of the best players in the country.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I wouldn't want to go up against Arta Ferns. That guy does punish people who, give him any room to breathe. So, great work to Macleans for putting up such a great fight.
That's right, but the winning team is obviously Auckland Grammar, 2-0. What I want to do is bring up a very important gentleman in the form of Nabil. Welcome up here, mate. I want to catch up with one of the founders and one of the organisers of the Point and Click tournament. Wonderful tournament, mate. You must be very proud of obviously what you've been able to achieve with the tournament.
Yeah, it's been a great tournament overall, and I just want to firstly say congratulations to Auckland Grammar. Dominant performance through the whole tournament. They were undefeated, and unfortunate for Macleans College. However, they were a wild card seeded, and they made it to the finals, which was absolutely amazing. And to the 48 teams overall who registered, bloody great. We absolutely love it. It was a great tournament, and we're looking forward to next year. But just one more thing, I'd just like to say thank you to all of our sponsors, and a special thanks to LPL for hosting this, and especially the final in the Hexadome. It's made an awesome experience. So thank you, guys.
Well, no worries at all. You should be very proud again for everyone that's watching out there. It has been the AMES Point and Click final. They started off with 48 teams in the tournament over 2 days. We made it down to 2 today in the Hexadome in the form of Macleans, who came through by being one of the favourites in Kings. They came up against a very good Auckland Grammar team led by Arta Ferns, who's one of the best players in the country. No shame in that, but Auckland Grammar are the champions again. It wouldn't be possible without the sponsors and the support. Obviously, AMES putting it on. LPL, big shout out to Mighty Ape, Corsair, Plant Tronics, and of course, Playtech. But what I want to do, and obviously I know that you are keen to get this, to make this happen, is let's welcome up the winning team in the form of Auckland Grammar. Gentlemen, come on up and join us up here. Congratulations to you. Wonderful performance across. You guys want to just tuck it on here, and you should be very proud of the performance. How's the experience of being in this tournament and obviously winning the grand final?
Well, it was great. I mean, it was my first ever esports tournament, so it was a great and learning experience for all.
Your first tournament, you say? Well, obviously it didn't show. Obviously, you guys are the champions, so somewhere along the line you knew what you were doing.
Well, mid-carried, all I can say.
Well, look, the exciting thing for you guys, not only do you guys become the champions, but you will also be heading to the curtain raiser at the NZGC Grand Final on October the 12th. You'll come up against Manaroa High School, 600 core esports fan. What a great experience for you guys, and you thoroughly deserve it.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, the Manu always should be an interesting experience. So are we in Hexadome again?
No, you will actually be at Motat in front of 600 people, so it's going to be even bigger and better. The Hexadome will be there, but obviously you guys will be there, Manaroa High School will be there. But look, let's get to the formalities, because I think everyone knows that today, in the Point and Click inaugural competition brought to you by AMES in association with Let's Play Live, Auckland Grammar are your champions. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
And for everyone that has been watching this broadcast, we thank you very much for tuning in. This has been a wonderful experience. So we're signing out on behalf of myself and the casters, Let's Play Live, and on behalf of AMES and all the sponsors. Congratulations to Auckland Grammar, and we will catch you soon.